Oh, I forgot. We should have done the intro, huh?
Oh, yeah.
All of this gets left in the podcast, and everyone's just like, "Wait, what's going on?"
Oh,
We're just, you know what? We're just getting right into it. We don't need any intro. Like, you're just all being taken for the ride.
there you go. There you go. Let's go. I'm down for that.
Yeah.
It's actually indie games that we think deserve some more attention.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to get in this.
I have a bunch.
Oh,
I have so many.
I know Baka has quite a bunch. Oh, I can't wait to hear these.
I prepared. I've got references. I've got interviews.
Yeah.
I got a YouTube playlist together.
I got quite a few. I not as much as you, because this is what I'm looking forward to, because every time you throw out some games, I'm always like taking notes, trying to make sure I try to find these games so I can just add them to my Steam list.
Wish list grows by the day.
Yep. I was gonna say my Steam wish list grows.
Mine literally grew today because in looking like further into these games, I realized that there's gonna be a Simulacra 3, and I was like, "What? Hello?" And there is a wish list, a Steam wish list available for it.
I am
was
definitely
very
going to put those
excited
on
about
there. Oh, I can't wait.
The first is great. The first is actually on my list to talk about, so I might as well just quickly.
Tell us.
Where is it? Okay, so Simulacra, it's a horror game, but it's set just very entirely in a smartphone. Like, all of your gameplay is in the smartphone. Your visuals or anything don't go away from that. It's always on screen. But the phone isn't yours in the first game. I don't remember for the second game, but in the first game, the phone belongs to a woman called Anna, and Anna is presumed to be missing. But you found her phone. It was like on your doorstep or something. I don't remember. And you're just like, huh, I gotta go through a phone. Like, maybe like check her contacts to say something to somebody. And shit gets weird real fast. But you're going through her phone. It's quite invasive, honestly. And you find like videos, and some of them are super normal. Some are kind of strange, and some of them are her explicitly like freaking the fuck out and asking for help. And also you go on her dating site, which, like, oh my god. So I do have a Twitch clip for this, and anybody who has been on my Twitch channel, like, while I've had a raid, you will have seen this, because it's right at the end of my raid video, and it's honestly probably the funniest thing. And then one of my friends, Cordelia Chase on Twitch and everywhere, who also has their own podcast, they did a reenactment of it on their TikTok, and it's honestly one of the funniest things I've ever seen. But I have to show you guys this, because so as you're going through the game, you're kind of on her Tinder, or whatever it's called in the game, and you're talking to this guy. You talk to a few folks, but you talk to this guy called Taylor, who I actually really like. There was points in the game where I was just like, I feel bad for liking you, but then he brings it back. I'm just like, okay, fair enough. He's very cheesy. He's very, very forward. And then he sent you a video of him singing in the shower. And I'm just like,
wait.
Wow.
I think I do
This is
know
the best thing I've ever seen.
I know what you're talking about.
You do?
God.
I'm so excited, because like in this clip, like, you can see that I was so scared, because I was like, am I gonna click on this and I'm gonna get a jump scare? And it was so much better. I was not prepared for this. let me share my screen so you guys can see this.
All right.
I always wondered what
It's
that was
one of the best things I've
from
ever seen.
in your thing.
Yep, it's from Simulacra. It's so good.
Oh God.
That sounds cool. I have to check that out for sure.
Yeah, that's on my
I'm gonna
wish
write that
list.
down.
It's so good. I think it's
Oh,
quite
wow.
cheap.
I
as
think
well.
it is.
Oh, okay. I'm going to add it to mine.
Okay, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Fine, it's fine. We'll do it.
I got my eyes on you.
Oh, wow.
I was not prepared.
You left your mark on me.
Oh, wow.
Love and emotion endlessly.
That eyebrow at the end.
Immediate. Wait, what's the direction? Left? Immediate left swipe?
Yeah, swipe left.
Yeah.
Oh, is it swipe right?
Oh, I would have
the
swiped.
right.
I would have just been like, cancel,
Oops.
ghosting you, cease and desist.
Yeah. Uninstall the app. Yep. Nope.
And that's-
Oh, that was great.
I
So
was so much more like, this is it. I love him. When that happened.
Oh
But
man.
yeah, so you have this girl's phone. You're talking to her kind of ex-boyfriend who was also a horrible person. And also Taylor, and kind of her best friend here and there, and also her mom here and there. And you're essentially like, to some of them, you're like, you're pretending to be Anna, but to other people, you're like straight up like, okay, we're solving this mystery. But this whole thing is you essentially trying to solve the mystery of, where is Anna? Can she be saved? What has happened to her in the first place? And it's great. The second game, similar concept, but it's like, it's with a group of people. Like, you're talking with like this manager guy who was actually kind of like a shitty entrepreneur. And her three friends, like the person who has went missing. I've forgotten her name, but it's like, it's a very kind of convoluted how they went about it in the second game. There is a free other game called Simulacra Pipe Dreams, but I haven't played it. But they're great games. They're very good and they're very cheap.
I'll have to check that out. Like I said, I'm going to add that. I always take notes, so thank you for that. That looks really cool. That clip was hilarious. That's really cute. It kind of reminds me of, though, well, in a sort of way, not 100%, but I haven't played it yet. But there's this like indie horror game that I've always wanted to play. There's two that are similar, but it was they're called Welcome to the Game, and then the other one's called Scrutinized.
Scrutinize is on my list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Scrutinize is the one that I really want to play. I want to play both, but Scrutinize, I've been watching people play that. I've been watching like scares of that, because like what you do is like you're in your own home, and like I guess necessarily you're trying to find out who this killer is on your computer while trying to prevent the killer from getting into your house, pretty much. And like it's really creepy. There's like one of them's like a doctor type of killer or something. So like you're like on your computer and you're like getting on the internet and you're like trying to put pieces together of this like the crimes and all that type of stuff. But while you're checking surveillance and everything, like your lights go out, and then you're going around trying to look, and all of a sudden your doors start opening and you realize he's in the house and you're trying to prevent like him to kill you. It's really, really fun. And it's really scary. And like, I really want to play that one. I suggest that one to you as well, because that's one that I definitely have been looking forward to play for a while now. But it just reminded me of that.
What was the other one?
Scrutinized is one, and then the other one was Welcome to the Game.
Welcome to the Game.
Yeah, they're pretty much similar, but for some reason I kind of like Scrutinized a little bit more. I don't know why.
Yeah, that sounds
But yeah, they're both similar though.
Let me see. Oh, there's two games in Welcome to the Game.
Yeah, that's right. There's two of them. That's correct. I don't know which one came out first, but I do know I saw Welcome to the Game first, and I really liked it. And then I saw Scrutinized. Now don't hold me to this. I'm not sure if it is, but I think like Welcome to the Game is kind of like Twitch integrated, I think, or something like that. I might be wrong. Yeah, I might be wrong. Don't hold me to that. But yeah. It looks really fun.
I've been playing Cult of the Lamb lately, and that also like has Twitch integration. And it's so cool.
That is
like,
cool.
You kind of recruit cultists, if you will, and when you're going to recruit them, you can kind of click this like Twitch integration thing where like your chat can enter like a kind of like a raffle, if you will, where like it'll randomly pick one of them and they get to make their own cultist, and it's very cute.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people playing that recently. I was in your stream when you were playing it too. I got to be a part of the thing.
Yeah.
So,
You had a cultist.
yeah. That was really cute. I did like that. See, normally I always pay attention to these other type of games, but I find cute games like that. It's like, okay, I want that. Yeah, that that's really cool. And Twitch integrated really quick. There's another one that I really suggest. It's called Choice Chamber.
Oh yeah, I have that
I think
game.
I've heard of that.
I haven't played it, but I have it.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's a good game because I played it on stream once, and your chat literally just essentially can type things in chat and make things happen in the game, whether they spawn enemies or spawn like blocks to jump across the space or to spawn a weapon for you or health. Like it really can, they can really determine the game. It's really, really, really awesome. So if you're looking for something like that too, that will be a fun one to play, especially when you have like people in your chat who want to try to kill you. So
Yep, that was
it's
immediately.
really
I was
cool.
just like, I love my chat. They would try to kill me.
Oh yeah.
I am not a part of that group.
Good, thank you.
No, I think you would be.
Baka, dang it, man. Baka, how dare you?
Listen,
away.
like
Man.
like as you said, I think in the first episode, like Violet's probably one of our most wholesome friends, but the fact that we all have Dixper enabled,
Yeah,
it gives Violet so many opportunities to be that
very true. Very true.
Violet takes so much pleasure in
You,
it, so it's
you
great.
haven't
I
met
love it.
Chica yet, and Chica is a dear friend, a fellow Ghostbuster. He was definitely the bully too, and I can just imagine him and Violet both teaming up. Like he used to love Dix, like hitting me with Dixper all the time, especially the little knock command. That one
yeah.
used to get me all the time because it sounds so real, and it's like as soon as I hear that, I'm just like looking towards my door, like what the heck? I'm like, okay, hello, Chica. Like, yeah. But yeah, yeah, I will choice chamber. You got to get that.
So I'm just remembering the time that
Great.
we were
What about you?
playing, I think it was In Silence, and Chica
Oh.
drove away in the
Yes.
car, leaving everyone else behind.
Oh my god.
So yes, so the reason that happened is because we all left Chica one day playing the same game.
He got his revenge. It was good. It was a good moment.
Baka has to play in silence with us. That's a good indie
I
one too.
do. Do I have In Silence?
Just
I
because
don't know
you,
if I do.
just the fact that you have to like be quiet and whisper, like that brings a whole new dynamic to the game. You know,
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, oh, dude, I don't know if they've been updating it because there's only 2 maps the last time I played, but man, that game is incredible. Look, like, that game is really good. I really like that one.
It was
So,
really good.
yeah, so that is a good one. So being a bully in that one, oh god, I can only imagine.
So mean.
You can also play the monster in Silence, if I remember.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can. But we just chose AI because it was, I think, just 4 of us. So we were just like, you know, but yeah.
There's been a few updates, but
Oh.
the last update was October of last year,
Oh.
which was Winterland update.
Hmm.
Oh. I wonder if snow and like leaving footprints.
Maybe, because I was going to say there is a snow map already in the game. So I wonder, maybe so. Maybe the footprints or something like that. That'd be cool.
That would be
I'll have to check
cool.
that
To be
out.
fair, they haven't even got to version 1.0 yet. They're still like version like 0.6. So
Ah,
Pretty
I'll take
I
solid
think
then.
we're still in early access.
oh, wow.
Fair.
Okay. I couldn't remember if it was early access or not. It's been forever since we all played it. I think that
I don't know. I don't know if it is or not.
Well,
but
we'll have
it
to
might be.
we'll have to get you on there so you can experience the horror and terror with us.
God.
Yeah.
Just to see how good you are at whispering.
Oh, Chris was saying, because I spoken to Chris about Forewarned after we played it a few weeks ago now.
Yeah.
And Chris said that he's played it more and he understands it more, so we have to play it
I really
again.
want
Okay,
to.
I'm down for that.
I want us to do
Yeah,
a
I'm-
ritual.
Yeah. I definitely want to do that. Because I felt the first time when we played it, we were so confused.
I was so confused. But also, I don't think any of us did the tutorial.
No,
We didn't.
we
We
all
didn't.
went in blind.
Yeah, we did. I tried when I first got it, like a while back. I did it for maybe like 5 minutes and quit because I was so frightened. And
Chris did the same. Like Chris played for like a little bit of the tutorial
Yeah.
and then like tapped out.
and I also was doing the tutorial in VR, so I was just kind of like, oh yeah, fuck this, I'm getting out of here. I didn't even try after a while. Yeah, so I think next time we'll definitely do it. Hopefully he can walk us through it, and because that was pretty fun though for what it was worth. But I watched the VOD of when we streamed it, and I watched myself fall into this hole. It was the funniest thing ever.
It was so funny.
And I was just like, my poor stupid self.
I mean, it happens.
That was really it was fun. But
Oh,
another really quick though, I wanted, speaking of like the indie like horror, an indie horror game that I really was well, I haven't played that I really kind of I'm looking forward to is called After Death.
Ooh.
Oh,
I don't.
I've heard of that.
It's like a Metroidvania, pretty much.
Of course, I've heard of it. It's a Metroidvania.
Yeah, After Death is really cool looking. Yeah, it's got it's just more. I mean, it's labeled as horror, but it's more or less. It's kind of, I don't want to say
Castlevania-y.
yeah, Castlevania because it's Castlevania has a lot of like disgusting like imagery in a good way, like
Yeah.
like the eyeballs out of the socket type of thing, like in the really nasty like images. So I really want to see that one. I just recommend that one. I've been watching that one. So
I recently played a indie game that is in development that is also like old school looking horror of Occult case files.
Oh, you did that on
Ooh.
your YouTube, I think.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I am so excited for more. It was so freaking cool. Good puzzles, good spook factor. I'm really excited to see more of it. I'm excited for whenever it comes out. Like,
That
it
looks
was
good.
really solid.
Yeah, that looked good. That reminds me because I did one too. A game that I got to review that's not out yet was called No Son of Mine, and I played that on stream and it was really fun. I enjoyed it. It's still in development, but so there's of course some work done. But yeah, really good so far. The jump scare part was pretty good. The the monster can even sneak up behind you, which is horribly horrifying. And what makes it actually really cool, I think the most scary part about it is that you have a like this, I don't know if they're glasses or whatever, but you have this filter you have to turn on in order to see the ghost. So you can't always see them if you don't have it charged up. So that makes it even more scary.
Heck
But
yeah.
yeah, Son of Mine was pretty cool. I recommend that one too. Hopefully when it releases soon, I hope.
I also played a game that hasn't been released yet on stream. It's Lighthouse of Madness.
Oh
Yes.
yes.
It was so great, but I could not figure out the dang potion thing, the puzzle. And I am still thinking about it days later of like, but how could I have, is there like a way? And like, I'm genuinely fully stumped. So I'm so excited for that game to come out and more people to play it and someone else to solve it. Cause I want to play more of that game. I really want to play more.
I was gonna say that's how you know you really enjoy a game because it leaves you thinking about it days later.
Yes.
Like, what did I do wrong?
Game developers, I love you. Thank you for letting me play your game that is just like in beta. But like, how do I solve the potion puzzle? SOS.
Yes, we want to know just in case I play.
I want to play more.
So
I felt like it must be solvable.
That was a good game. Yeah, I like
so
that one.
good.
So a game that I played before it came out, who are now actually friends of mine, because they came to my stream while I was playing it. It was very sweet. I played the demo because they sent me the demo, I believe, and then sent me the full game like after it was released. It was very lovely of them. Taro, Theo's Journey.
Ooh.
Developed by Appa's Papas, and Appa is their dog, so their whole like thing is around that. It's very cute, very into that. They have pictures of Appa on their Twitter. Please go follow them. It is two husbands that do the whole thing. The music is done by somebody externally, but it's so lovely. And I asked them about this because I was like, I don't think I could do this justice if I just explained this. So I went like directly to Daniel, who is one of them. And I was like, I was essentially like, how would you describe Taro to somebody who is new? Like what would you say? First of all, I don't think I don't think I guess articulate the question very well because like Tower could have been the cards or the game itself. I should have said the full title. But bless Daniel so much, he explained both of these to me. So he explained the full concept of tarot and then the game. And I was like, oh my gosh. So tarot. It's an adventure card battler with, this is coming directly from Daniel, an adventure card battler with RPG-like elements. So Rain, I think you might be really into this. It is on itch and it is on Steam.
I will check
I don't
it
know
out.
if it's anywhere else, but I know it's definitely there. You explore the worlds through a point-and-click interface, talk to NPCs, perform mini-games to use elemental magic to unlock paths, which we did get to do in the demo, and it was very cool. There's a lot of text that you read, so a lot of dialogue, a lot of lore, very, very cute. I remember we went into this academy place, and like you could click on like little like books, and you would get like pieces of lore and such, and it was so cool to me because I love lore in video games.
Mhm.
And you all do it via the character Theo, and Theo is a witch in training, and you join her as you're going through the Witch Nation, which is what this the world's called, and you collect tarot cards, and you use those tarot cards to essentially kind of like battle, like you're in like a Pokemon battle.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and Daniel said that they tried really hard to tie tarot into literally everything in the game, like tarot the card game into the game, and it's very evident. It's so cool. I learned a lot like that. So the spirit forms are directly related to the meanings of the major arcana. Major arcana is one type of tarot. To kind of not go into this whole topic of tarot, it's a very long topic. And the element like for the chariot for cups is a water wheel representing something like water gives power. If yeah. For wands, they use nuclear fusion. For swords, a wind turbine. For coins, a stone wheel, etc. And he did say that he kind of left the early artwork just as it is. He didn't go and improve it, just so that it kind of like you're like he was also growing with the game, so it kind of feels like the game is growing with you and with Theo as you're going along, and I think that is really cool. Game devs, I love you so much for doing things like this.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
He said, the last bit that players might overlook, the mini games are meant to be tied to the reality of the meaning of the cards. For air, you have to avoid negative thoughts. For water, you have to recognize your emotions.
Oh wow.
And I think that's so cool.
That is so cool. I
that
need to
is
play
cool,
this.
yeah.
This sounds awesome.
I do too.
Yeah.
It does
It's
sound
so
awesome.
good. It's so good. And they're so lovely, the devs. I did also ask a question of if they had anything that they wanted us to promote, what would that be? And they literally just said to check out 78 Degrees of Wisdom by Rachel Pollack, which I haven't checked out, but I did look, and it looks very interesting. So I'll put a link to that down below.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That does sound awesome. So that like another I know we always stick to this because I don't know why. I guess because I'm such a huge fan, but when it comes to indie games, of course I go to indie horror like mostly every single time. But there, I mean, there's some are like super scary and then some that aren't, but like one that I wanted to try, I haven't got it yet. It's called Martha is Dead.
I want to get that so badly.
Yes.
Yeah, that looks really cool. Like I really want to try that. I think it takes place in Italy, right? It's like Italy at like the end of World War II or something like that. It looks really, really nice. I mean, it looks, graphics are great too, but I've heard some good things about it. So I definitely want to try that one. And I've also been playing, I got this for free on Epic a while back, and I streamed only a little bit of it, and I want to get back into it, but it's called In Sound Mind.
I think I have that on my list too.
I have that, but I
Really?
haven't played it yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's really cool. It's like, it's a psychological type of like first person horror, but you actually, one thing I love right now is that you actually get to shoot the enemies. But you know, it's really cool. It's like you're like a psychologist or whatever, and you're like in like another dimension or something like that. And it's kind of it's kind of a trippy game. It's like things like it kind of reminds me of like you know, like Layers of Fear, where like
I love Layers of
Same.
Fear.
yeah, Layers of Fear is great.
So good.
And like, you know, like when you turn around, the room can change or whatever. Like it's kind of like that too. But it's got like the aesthetic, like the art design of it is really cool because it's like kind of photorealistic, but it's got these really beautiful colors, and the enemies are actually really cool. It's like it kind of reminds me of like this neon like 80s kind of vibe, but it's not. Like
Oh.
it's really awesome. I recommend that one.
To circle back to Metroidvanias, 'cause it's the only thing that I talk about in this podcast. I have two that are very near and dear to me. That are actually both in my top 5 games. So indie devs are send me your Metroidvanias. I will play all of them.
Me too.
And I will play all of them.
And I'll play them with him.
So I believe Rain also has these on his list, but one is The Messenger,
Yes.
and the other is Blasphemous. The Messenger I have seen talked about a bit, but the Blasphemous I never see being talked about ever, and I don't know why.
Me either.
It's so good. It was so well designed. But I'll start with The Messenger because I need to. I love this game. It's probably the game that I have played, like replayed the most. Like I talk about saying like A Link to the Past is my all-time favorite game, but I've replayed The Messenger more times than any other game that I've ever played. Which does include Hollow Knight, which is a game that I have actually replayed many times and many times on stream.
Yes.
But so in The Messenger, you start out, you're a ninja in training, you're in the ninja village, and then it kind of just gets like crazy real fast. Like you're like 10 steps into the game, and then the Demon King like just attacks. But you're saved by the Western hero who rides in on a phoenix, and you're like, okay, what's going on here? And he hands you like he gets rid of the Demon King. Like he doesn't kill the Demon King, but he shoots him a few times, and the Demon King's just like, haha, you haven't seen the last of me, kind of. And so the Western hero, he hands you the scroll. You don't look at what's in the scroll until like later on in the game, and there's like NPC that you talk to like quite often. It's just like, you've had the scroll the whole time and you didn't even look.
Oh god, yeah, I
It's
love
great.
that. I love that guy that you talk to. I know who you're talking about. He's hilarious.
Yeah, because like you're given this scroll and you're told to like take it to like location redacted, and like you're like, okay. You're like, oh, okay, right, let's go then. And you do. You just kind of set off, and it's kind of this whole adventure. Like,
I loved that game. The funny thing about that NPC you're talking about too, one of my favorite parts, I don't recall like the whole conversation, but I remember like when you unlock the glider and like you go up to him and he talks, like most games will give you this long speech and you got to buy it. They're like, this or something like that. You go in there and you're like, he's like, you're probably expecting me to give you some long speech about the mountains and all this stuff, and you want a prize, like you like, but you're right, here's the glider. Like it's just like
yeah. I love that.
It's really cute.
It's like the game. It is like relatively like a serious game, but it doesn't take itself very seriously.
Yeah, and
As it has so many references to like other games, like
Oh, it
very
does.
notably Ninja Gaiden.
yeah, I was just gonna
And
say,
I just saw today that there is a video on YouTube of the Ninja Gaiden devs playing The Messenger, and
Oh,
I was like,
yeah.
oh my god,
That's-
I need to go watch
that's
that.
wonderful, because I was gonna say that's the Ninja Gaiden game that we wanted, right? Like, well, I'm not gonna say we wanted, but I enjoy, because I miss the old Ninja Gaidens. I used to play the mess out of those games, no matter
I
how
love Ninja
incredibly
Gaiden.
hard they were and cheesy they were. But yeah.
I need to revisit them because they were just well, some of them were added to Game Pass.
Oh really? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The original Ninja
Um,
Gaidens were stuff, man.
Oh my god, there's a free DLC for it as well. But the music in this game is some of my favorite music ever written.
Oh yeah.
I play it. I run like a wee radio show on Tuesdays. Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And the music that is played before every Tuesday is The Messenger. Like it's since the start of Tuesday until current day, it's always been The Messenger. And it will continue to be because it is amazing. And I found out today that there was vinyls pressed for it. They're colored vinyls as well, but they
nice.
are sold out. I did find them online for a very inflated price, and I'll think about it.
Now I tell you something funny because speaking of another one that I love, Metroidvania, that is more Metroid than Vania, if that makes sense, but also has a great soundtrack, was Axiom Verge. And
Yes.
Axiom Verge, I'll tell you this, Axiom Verge, I remember every time I booted up, I have to turn my headset down because the music is like, it booms really loud in your headset. But the music is so incredible. And I can tell that it's inspired more by Metroid than it is by anything else. But I want to play Axiom Verge 2, which I'm still waiting to do. Because I just recently beat Axiom Verge 1. So and I loved it. So really great game. I recommend for anyone, especially if you love Metroidvanias. And I think Axiom Verge 2 was released only on the Switch for a little while.
Oh.
And
Yeah, I have it on Switch.
yeah, I think it's coming to PC soon, or I don't know if it hit PC yet. I think it's soon. I think maybe this month, I think. But
It's kind of like how Ori did. Like the second Ori game, Ori in the Will of the Wisps, was an Xbox exclusive for a long time until it released elsewhere.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'm surprised it was.
Yeah,
Xbox.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'm surprised that was Xbox. It just struck me as a Nintendo game. I don't know if that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It does, doesn't it? It does kind of remind me more Nintendo-y, I guess you could say. Yeah, it does. Which is a great game too, by the way. But yeah, Axiom Verge. I want everybody to play Axiom Verge. I just love that and the music in it. And yeah, and it just brings me back to my Super Metroid roots because I used to play the shit out of Super Metroid. So wonderful game.
Blasphemous.
Yes.
This is a very special game. It's very dark. It's very draped in religion,
Indeed.
but it is so good. So there is a comic that is set directly before the story of the game, which is great. You'll be able to find it online, I'm sure. But it's set directly before, essentially a massacre happens, and then the story of Blasphemous is a thing. That's kind of a massive understatement, but the be all and end all of what you need to know beforehand. So you play as the Penitent One, and that's all you know. That's essentially like the only thing that you know about their name. But they were a member of this group called the Brotherhood of the Silent Sorrow, which are all silent. They're all sworn to silence. And that's literally all you know about this one character. And he has a sword called Mea Culpa, and it is kind of covered in like thorns, and it's implied that you're kind of like stigmatizing yourself with this as like a form of penance in a way. And I learned like a while back, but because like I went into like a deep dive of the lore ages ago. In Latin, mea culpa means through my fault, and I was like, oh, that fits so well with this character who is essentially going on this like a pilgrimage, if you will, like, and I loved that. I loved attention to detail like that in games. But the game kind of starts out where you're like, you wake up on a mass pile of the corpses of your slaughtered brothers. So if that's the tone that they said at the start of that. But
I'm in. I'm hooked.
It's great.
It's a good game.
But the big thing in this game is that this place, Custodia is what it's called. Custodia has been taken over by a force called the Miracle, which, think of it kind of like a biblical wrath in a way. Especially since they've taken a lot of influence from like Roman Catholicism and like Spanish culture and such. So like you can, biblical wrath. And it manifests differently for different characters. Like a character that we meet who I've forgotten the name of, like very shortly after we like get out of the Brotherhood of the Silent Sorrows' place. His thing is that like he is not allowed to see and he is like, his movement is heavily restricted. Like he is like literally like rope tied. Like, so that's one of his. We meet other characters where like they have something like heavy on their back, so like they're always like bent over and such. And the enemies that we meet are like they were implied to have been just normal people, and then they go to this one place and like to receive like kind of like a blessing, if you will, or like to like ascend, if you will. And they kind of got turned into like twisted abominations because like they were not pure, if you will. So it's very dark game, very good, has a lot of lore, like a lot of, this is the trend with me, games with lore, amazing. This is it for me. But it's like manifests in great ways, like some bosses, like there's a boss in a snowy area, which I'm trying to like try to say as little as possible about this, but there's like real world references with this boss. Like this boss like physically like poured like molten gold over herself because she was getting like pursued by this like political man who like she was very religious. She was just like, she sees this as a sin. She's like, I don't want this. Like, so she like physically disfigured herself to try to like get him to not pay attention to her. Yes, it worked, of course. But like, it kind of made her into a martyr. And she was just like, shit, this isn't what I wanted to happen. And this game also has 3 free DLCs. And I believe they have also teased. Oh, they released a trailer for a second game. Yeah.
Huh. I have the game. I've only played like a little bit of it. I think I got.
Oh my god.
I got past the like. Well, I want to say the first boss, but it's kind of like a tutorial boss. You know, like the
tutorial. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've gotten there, and I got into maybe like the first area. I haven't got that far yet. But I agree. Game is incredible. It's dark, lore, gray. If you're hooked,
oh yeah,
I suggest to grab that one. It's
I
incredible.
Want it. I need it.
It's gory, bloody too. Like there's a. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a part in the beginning when you meet the first like tutorial boss. Baka knows what I mean.
Yeah. I know exactly the cutscene you mean.
There's a cutscene in there that's pretty gross. I mean, it's cool, gross, but it's like wow, like to see a Metroidvania go this far with it. It's really cool because like the ones
the
that
art style is also
the art style
so good. Like speaking of the cutscenes, the art style, oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
I love it.
Definitely check it out. It's that's the one that kind of ties in with Bloodstain, Ritual of the Night.
One of the DLCs is a crossover.
Yeah, it's a crossover with Miriam. Yeah. So and I haven't of course I haven't got that far yet, but I recommend this one, and also another one, it's an indie one. A lot of people don't know about this one. It's called Out Buddies DX. And
I don't know that one.
So it's kind of more Metroidvania, but still in there. But it's but most of the time it seems like you're underwater kind of thing. But it's a Metroidvania. It's really cool, and it's actually co-op. So it's a co-op Metroidvania. You can actually have 2 players. So if I think it's online too. You can do co-op. So really fun. I would say definitely check out Out Buddies. I got it fairly cheap when I did buy it. I think I got it last year. It came out in 2019. But it's kind of like a pixel art style. But it's incredibly cool. The bosses, all that stuff, you can tell is heavily inspired by Metroid, 100%.
You said pixels and I was so
right. I knew I'd get you with pixels. I knew that. But yeah, I suggest that one 100%. Check out Out Buddies DX if you get a chance. I guarantee you, especially you, Baka, I know you'll love it. But yeah, that one in Blasphemous. Oh man, it's a beautiful game. I'm going to finish that at some point. I promise. That and Ender Lilies. So.
Yeah, I really want to play Ender Lilies. I've been trying my absolute best because like I sometimes trade like Steam keys with folks. Yeah. And I've been trying my absolute best to like try and get somebody to trade one with me because I want to play it so bad.
Yeah, I'm currently playing through that, and it's you want to talk about tough. Like it's kind of like that tough like you get from I want to say Hollow Knight kind of like deal, but because you have to, because the girl doesn't fight, your spirits do. So like you
Talented,
yeah.
brilliant, amazing, show-stopping, incredible. Like I could, I read a research paper on Hollow Knight. I could talk about that game for a very, very long time.
Well, then you'll definitely love Ender Lilies. It's in that area. It's really fun. It's really cool. So.
Ender Lilies also has an amazing soundtrack.
It really does. That's beautiful areas too. The art style in general is really, really awesome. I really recommend that one too. I'm going to have Gray playing some Metroidvanias here by soon.
Yeah, I actually don't think I've ever played one.
I will literally give you my Steam login.
Really? Right? I will give you.
Well,
I
no,
will
because I'm just
give you
thinking of
everything.
like the games I've played over the years. Like I don't think I've ever actually played a Metroidvania. I know I researched them once because I was interviewing for a job where I would have written the script for video essays on different video games, and so like my sample script was the new Metroid game. So I did a lot of research.
Oh, Metroid Dread?
Yeah.
Oh.
I did a lot of research and wrote like this huge paper on it, script for the submission, and like 3 times the dude was just like, we need to have a meeting, and like he just never ever got back to me, so ghosted me. So, but it was really cool. I did a lot of research then and got more acquainted with Metroidvania games. But yeah, I don't think I've actually played one.
Well, I would recommend you to play all those. I would recommend you also, I mean, just to get a feel from where the Metroidvania kind of stemmed from, is to definitely play Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Yes.
Symphony of the Night, yeah. Super Metroid,
Yeah,
definitely in there as well.
Yeah, because that's pretty much where they came from, was those 2 games.
Yeah, Super Metroid. Or Metroid Prime also kind of in there somewhere, but like mostly Super Metroid and Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, that one definitely, yeah, because, oh man, Symphony of the Night, probably one of my favorite games of all time, for sure. I could go on and on about Metroidvanias. as Per Baka could too.
As kind of similar to Metroidvanias, roguelikes. Roguelikes are also a brilliant genre that have so many indie games.
Yes.
Yeah,
Everybody makes a roguelike, and it's great. I love it. Continue, please. Because, like, of course, like, I've been playing Cult of the Lamb, which, like, has a combat system, which is kind of roguelikey. And, like, Hades, which was, like, also a roguelike, which is amazing. Everybody should play Hades. It's so good. But the one I want to kind of bring attention to is Skul the Hero Slayer. Because, like, it's so lovely. And also the story made me cry. But it is a game that I got very, 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 very obsessed with for like a good month or two, to the point where I was like hitlessing bosses. But to sum it up, you are a wee Skul. You're very, very small guy, very small skeleton called Skul. You are a kind of you're okay. So to bring it back a bit, so roles are reversed here. Like, usually you'll see the demons are the bad guys. The heroes / humans are the bad guys in this one. There was a peace treaty between humans and demons. And, like, kind of they're, like, affiliated races each way. But the humans were just plotting against that the entire time. And then they commenced a full onslaught. And, like, did, like, mass massacre, like, destroyed the Demon King's castle, and took him prisoner, and took a lot of other folks prisoner. And you're one of the few folks that survived that. And you're going around in this, like, roguelike game, and you're trying to, like, free these folks and kind of restore peace, if you will. And there's, like, a boss in the game that has, like, so much, like, pain that makes me feel, because it's like there's like cutscenes that you see like after you've finished certain segments, and it's like you kind of get this story of like the Demon King was friends with like this little boy, and then like in like some fight that happened, the little boy died, but they like blamed the Demon King for it, and so is this feud that happens. And it's so painful to watch all of this happen.
Yeah, that's a good game. You know that game though, the only problem I have with that is like, you know, in fashion like roguelikes, especially this one, if you die, you go all the way back to the beginning of that part where you start. And
What I do like about it though is like a Skull's main mechanic is that you can change your skull.
Yeah.
Like in this, like the different skulls, there's many of them. They have different abilities.
Yeah,
And
I
I
love
think
that.
that's so good.
That is good.
I hadn't seen that before.
Yeah, I mean either. I do like that. That's one of my favorite parts about the game. Like I said, I don't get far because I get my butt whipped because I'm not good at that for some reason. I haven't played it as much as you have. Like I need to get back into it because I really love it. It's just when I die and I go back to the beginning, I'm like, no, because you know you lose all that stuff that you get, you know, especially the skulls. But yeah, that game is incredible. I recommend that one. That one's so fun. I will play that. You know what? I probably will play that now that we've been talking about it, because the last time we had a talk, we talked about the messengers and Axiom Verge, and I went back and started playing them again, and Ender Lilies as well, because we talked about that before, and I'm like, okay, so I'm going to go and I'm going to play Skul, and I'm going to try to get better at that. I promise I won't suck. But the question, one question is, because all the ones we've been talking about, what is the one indie game that you're most looking forward to as of late?
Oh my god. That is a list. That is 90% of my Steam wish list. But like my mind automatically defaults to Silk Song. Like the possible sequel to Hollow Knight, we don't really know.
Huh.
I would like the rest of Deltarune, because we have 2 chapters of Deltarune. Both of them are free to play, and I would recommend them, please. But there's going to be 7 chapters, and I'm very excited for all of them. Oh god, what was the train one that we talked about?
Choo Choo
Oh, Choo Choo Charles.
Charles.
Very excited about that.
Yeah, I kind of want to play that. I'm not gonna lie.
I will watch you play it. I want to watch you play it.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure.
There's Lord of the Rings. There's a Lord of the Rings game coming up, but via the perspective of Gollum.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yes.
into that.
Yes.
Scorn. That was the one that was on the top of my mind there.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for Scorn, because that one's been in development for a while.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one too. That's been, man. I thought that was canceled at some point. I thought. But,
I thought too.
Yeah, I can't wait. That's a good one.
Lies of P is another one.
Ooh, I just saw gameplay for that.
Pinocchio, but make it Dark Souls.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, the gameplay for that looked really sick. They just showed like recently. I'm down for that.
What about you?
Let's see. Well, there's a couple. One of them that I'm really looking forward to. It is out though, but I have not played. It's called Moons of Madness.
Yeah.
No, it's a first person type of horror game, but what I didn't know for some reason is kind of a Lovecraftian horror. So, but yeah, it's like you're on like, you know, see who developed Rock Pocket Games, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So they so you're pretty much on Mars, and you're like investigating like these signals and like these artifacts or whatever. It's a puzzle game. So you explore like the base, like the moon base or the Mars base you're on. Sorry. So you're trying to uncover like what's been hidden from you and underneath the Mars and that type of stuff. And it's got like this really cool aesthetic where the colors are really beautiful, and like it's, and the dark aesthetic as well, and the place, like the map can sometimes change, and you're actually being, if I remember, there's a part that I've seen in the gameplay where you actually, certain parts you're actually being chased by tentacles. So I mean, you know, yeah, so it's really cool. It's kind of like if I remember, the mechanic is like when you turn your back is what it'll chase you, but if you face it, it'll run and retreat type of thing. So that's what I've gotten from the gameplay I've seen so far, but it's already out and I want to try that. That was one that I definitely recommend. And then
if we're talking about games that are already out, Bear and Breakfast, I really want to play. You're a bear and you run a bed of breakfast.
Really?
I love it. I featured it during Wholesome Direct like a few months ago, and it's Twitter's given it some really good treatment. I love it so much.
That actually sounds kind of cool.
That sounds so cute.
And
It's very sweet.
and one that's not
Your
out
bear
yet.
is called Hank.
Hank?
Oh, of course it's Hank.
Of course it's Hank. Yeah, that's cute. And like the other one that I'm looking forward to that's not out yet is a sequel to the first one game. It's called Sons of the Forest.
Oh,
what is
From
that?
the Forest?
Yeah,
getting
the
a sequel?
Forest we have. Yeah, there's a sequel coming out. It's supposed to come out this next month, I think. So the Forest, they go back. The Forest is like your plane crashes and these like monster tribe people take your son or whatever, and you gotta try to find them. But like you have to, it's like a survival game, so it's kind of like you got to build a base and feed yourself and not starve, that type of thing, and also go exploring to try to find your son and find clues. And then at nighttime, like these tribe of like monster people, like they will come and try to wreck your base. So you either have to go to sleep or you can stand and fight them. And it's a co-op game. It's like 4 people co-op. And so part 2 is coming out, and it looks even better than the first one. So and that one was, I think we all played it in VR at one point because it is a VR capable game. But I recommend you checking out The Forest if you haven't, Baka. That's really, really cool. I know, Gray, you've seen us play it, right?
Yeah. You, Atoshi, Chica, and Mila played it a bunch.
Yeah, they played it a bunch. I played it with them a few times, and then like they played it a bunch. It's really, really fun. I recommend you check that one out. I wouldn't mind playing that again with everyone. That would be cool.
The Outlast Trials.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, I was like checking my list of like, what are the things that are upcoming?
Yes.
It's just like, oh yeah, the Outlast Trials.
Outlast is great. I can't wait. Yeah, it's better. Well, hopefully it's good because the way they were going with part 2, we mentioned that before. But
Yeah.
Outlast Trials. Oh, I can't wait. That's gonna be so fun. Ghostbusters night.
Now, as of today, Simulacra 3 is on that list because I'm very excited to see where they're gonna go with that.
Oh wow.
And you know how on Steam, how like when they have like the release date and they're like coming soon,
Yeah.
or like they'll have the date. This one is be prepared, it's coming.
I love that.
That is kind
And
of
I'm like,
I like that too. Yeah, definitely. Outlast Trials. That's it, man. I saw the more gameplay they just recently showed at Gamescom, and oh my gosh, it just gets me like hyped even more.
Oh my god, I'd mentioned to you, Rain, not very long ago, Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a new game coming called Rift of the Necrodancer.
Oh.
I'm also very excited for that.
I will have to check that.
Heck yeah.
That sounds cool. Which ones are you looking forward to as well, Gray?
Oof. Well, I think the one that I'm really looking forward to playing is already out. It's just been on my mind for a while because I just finished streaming like revisiting BioShock 1. And a few years ago I did a video game themed event for Jason Schreier, who used to be like the head writer at Kotaku. He came out with a book. He's actually come out with 2 books now. They're both great. Highly recommend. But for the first one, we did a panel where it was Jake Baldino from GameRanks was the interlocutor, and it was Jason and then Bill and Amanda Gardner. And Bill Gardner was a level designer for BioShock. They have since, the 2 of them went off and like they make games together now, and their first one was Perception. It sounds so cool. I have owned it forever. I've never gotten around to playing it, so I need to change that because just the concept seems so cool because you play, it's a horror game, but you play a blind woman. So you just like take your cane and wrap it on stuff, and then like an echo wave goes out to illuminate, and I'm just like, that just seems so cool.
Yes.
So scary.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Cordelia Chase played it on stream one time. It's so cool.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy? It actually didn't get great reviews either, and that sucks because the game is actually really cool. I played only a little bit of it, and I need to go through it myself. Actually,
Yeah, I saw that it was like mixed reviews, but I'm just like, just the concept alone sounds awesome. Also, I'm pretty sure that their team, it was just the 2 of them, and they have 4 children. So like while raising their 4 kids, Amanda was talking about being sick in the interview, she was like sick with like the 4 kids, and she just like had like between pillows in her office chair just like programming stuff for the day. So I'm just like, even if it is just like not the greatest game, like the fact that these two made this game on their own while also raising a family, like that alone, that's a win. That's a victory.
Yeah, that's incredible. I think that we give a lot of credit to people who do stuff like that, whether it's mixed reviews or not. That's cool.
Yeah.
And a good game. So you should definitely play. I will definitely watch you play that one because I want to see your take on it. It's really cool.
Yeah, I'm so
I
excited.
think it's a good game. Hell yeah, I think that is a really cool game.
I also want to shout out because I actually did the launch event for this game, so I feel like I should give them some love because they made a great game. Eliza, that visual novel I played recently.
Oh yeah.
That was so cool, so well written and researched. I don't normally play a lot of visual novels, but like Eliza was just really, really cool.
That was cool.
Yeah, they did a lot of research to write that game. It was very thoughtful, very philosophical, and just like data and the tech industry in general, and just like how far is too far to be involved in people's lives. It was really cool. Another philosophical game that I adored was Soma.
Oh,
I still need to play Soma.
I had that on my list. That is a great game.
So good, so good.
I still need to play.
Oh, I recommend it. It's so good. I mean, it might break you a little bit. I don't know.
I've heard.
It broke me a teeny bit. I mean, like I watched it before I played it, so I knew what I was getting into. I think my friend Michael gifted me that game. Shout out to him. He's a great friend. But yeah. So good.
Yeah, it is a good game. Think of like Outlast, but in like an underwater ship or something.
Yeah. Oh, and I think it's the same makers of Amnesia.
Yeah. Wait, isn't it? Yeah, it's underwater ship. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But it just makes you question like, what does it mean to be alive? What is humanity? Like, it's so cool.
It is good. Definitely. That is a really good one.
Yeah, you might have a little bit of an existential crisis with it, possibly. It's just baby warning.
Yeah, I probably so, because that game is really incredible. It will break you, Baka.
It's so good.
I will say
the other one I recommend too, if you guys haven't. It's an older game, but it was a horror game. It's called Daylight. And so this premise of this game is really cool. So you're essentially in like this kind of asylum or whatever, but it's you have your smartphone as your map, so you have it holding in front of you the whole time and whatever. But the reason why is because the games, every time you play it, it changes. The map is randomly generated, so you're going through this asylum trying to solve these puzzles and all that stuff. But it is also, to revert back, is also Twitch integrated. So, but it's kind of like Dixper before Dixper. So they can spawn certain enemies, what are witches in the game, and then you can like make sounds in the game, like footsteps coming behind you and a few other things with the chat. And but yeah, and like I said, it's randomly generated, so it's always changing, and it's a really, really cool. It's a short game, but it's really, really fun. So I definitely recommend that one as well.
I will say, to circle back, because you're like, Soma will break you. A game that did do it for me was Cooking Companions. Because I came into this kind of knowing that it was going to be like a psychological horror game, but with like this like cute aesthetic. Didn't realize it was going to be as dark as it is.
Yeah.
And, God, it's so good.
So good.
And it was another one where like I'd reached out to the devs who are Dear Dream Studio. Because I was like, I want to open up a dialogue with these guys. I would love that. But B, I kind of want to know how they would describe it. Because I didn't want to go into this like, this is the game. Like, I wanted to be like, okay, how would they describe it? Like, spoiler free, how would they describe it? And they said, it is a cute psychological horror game based on Eastern European folklore. Don't be deceived by the anime art aesthetic or a dating sim look. Underneath is a tragedy on top of a real world horrific event. And it is there it is. I looked up this event. I'm not telling you guys what it is. You have to go and play the game and find out. Read the subtext. But it is awful. It is awful.
But the game is so
I would definitely.
good.
Yeah, I'm going to check that one out.
Until literally today, they also had a cabbage plush available for sale, which is the most adorable thing I have ever seen in my life. And they do have a YouTube channel with all the endings and sneak peeks at newer projects. Their Twitter, of course, which is where I talk to them. And they did make a TikTok where they have gameplays and announcements and such.
Oh, wow. I will definitely check that out.
I did. Yeah, it's great. I did ask if they also wanted to promote anything. And they said, if your audience digs horror games, which our audience definitely digs horror games, I'm Scared, which all one word, all caps. Yeah. Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion, which I would also personally recommend. And Lost in Vivo, who are by Kira. Both the same game as by Kira. And If Our Followers Are Broke, which relatable. Cry of Fear. Cry of Fear. It's on Steam and it's free.
Cry of Fear. I was going to bring that up too. That is really cool. Isn't it the one that was? It's got like multiplayer or something in it, doesn't it?
I don't remember. Let me go look.
I know. I think I have Cry of Fear, actually. Because that was free. You said, right? Yeah. I have.
Yes, it's co-op.
I have Cry of Fear. Yeah, it's co-op or whatever. Yeah, I haven't played it. Well, I tried to play it. I tried to look for a lobby, but I think you have to actually like link up with someone or something like that. But yeah, it was really cool looking. So yeah, that's a good. Also, speaking of some indie horror, again, that's me. Like Albaka with the Metroidvanias, it's like all horror for me. But we've all played this with it. And we talk about games that's going to break you. It's going to be Visage. And that game did break me. So so I agree with you 100% because I found it funny because Gray was going to stream that just recently, and because it was so dark in the game and she couldn't get her light, she quit.
I didn't have any candles or a lighter. I had no way to light anything up. I don't even think I had the camera. I had a light bulb.
Yeah, because you were trying to go get the camera, and I was like, "Yeah, you guys in the basement probably." Well,
yeah, it was like literally just trying to walk into a room that was pitch black, and I'm just like, I'm not doing this because, and it wasn't even so much like, oh, something might grab me and kill me. It was like I genuinely can't see any like where I'm going. And I don't have, like, the map of the house memorized, so, like, it's genuinely unplayable. Like, I played myself into a corner, so now I'm just realizing, like, I did go back and I maxed out my brightness, but I didn't try playing it, so I don't know if I'll be able to see to, like, get items to continue playing it. But otherwise, the other option is I might have to start over and play it again.
So there are some places where you can turn the light switches on where the lights aren't broke in the basement. I don't know where because I haven't played it in forever. Yeah, but like I feel what you mean though, because like we've discussed before, Visage was the game where it took me forever to beat because I was so terrified. I would quit midstream. That game broke me. It really did. And I mean, I'm glad it did because it was a great game. But once again, like I also said, the controls are very terrible.
They're the worst.
So
they're the worst. I mean, they are. She's completely right. Like the controls are so horrendous. It's insane. Like the game is good though. The stories are good for each individual chapter, and it does have a great atmosphere. But man, trying to figure out those controls is about the scariest part. You know, especially because you can actually pause the game, but you really can't. Like if you press just the menu button, it doesn't pause, so you can still die. But you actually have to like go to the menu and then hit pause for the game to pause.
And then it does a
and
countdown.
That's also something freaky.
It's like pausing
because I didn't know
3, 2, 1, and then it'll pause.
Yeah.
It's like you're just mean.
Oh, that does. It sucks. I was just like, why do that to me? Yeah. But, you know, like I said, you know, Baka, you still have to play Lucy's chapter just because.
Yeah. Well, wait, no, were you in Dolores, right?
I was in Dolores. Yeah, that was the first one that I'd opened up.
Yeah, that was mine too. That was the first chapter I did, was Dolores. And then Dolores was already bad enough because it reminded me of PT. But then like Lucy,
Yeah.
Lucy, the reason why I say Lucy is because we talked about before, like and then where you actually have to use the camera as your light. So it's like, you know, the camera's flash. So yeah, that one's incredibly scary. And I just want Baka to play it because I want him to feel our pain.
You know, to pivot away from possibly the scariest game that we've all played, to what I'm gonna call a joke game, but it's not a joke game, but kinda. Have you guys heard of Gone Golfing?
Why is it so familiar?
So it's a first-person survival horror game. You just play golf. But you work around these golf courses, but you are being pursued by the course's mascot, who is a man in a large bloodied golf ball costume.
Oh.
Oh wow! Wow!
And I did play it on stream, and this is probably my viewers' favorite clip of mine because I was not okay.
Wow!
I was scared. Because I get scared over everything, to be fair.
I mean, fair.
But
Yeah.
this one, I was very like taken to the point where like it was like I'm going to be singing now. Actually,
Fear singing.
Do you ever
Yes.
sing in fear?
Yes. All the time. Fear singing is a real thing.
Yes, it is because I do it too.
Yes.
So this I believe is also in my raid video actually, but I don't know what it did. No! Get the fuck away from me! Get the fuck away from me! Get the fuck away from
The
me! Get
note.
fuck away
The
from me.
high note.
I was like,
Oh.
I've never hit that note in my
Holy
entire
God.
life.
I love it.
Let me in, oh, he wouldn't let me back in.
Oh God!
Will not let me back into the closet. And I think, oh fuck.
Oh God.
Oh, what the hell was that? Was that like
Yeah, that's him.
was that a Pac-Man? Is it? That's what it looked like.
That's a golf ball. And there's also this. They have like funny things in the game, which is why I was like, this is a joke game. This is funny.
Oh,
But
wow.
you guys know the Wilhelm scream?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Classic.
It's in like
So I
every
was
movie.
just like, yeah, I was like, there's a well in the game, and I was like, what would happen if I put something in this well? Like, just out of curiosity in this horror game.
Wow.
I was not expecting that of anything. I was so impressed by it.
That is pretty funny.
That's so
I give it to that one. Well,
I just want,
that's like
I
in
want a
every
quick,
movie.
Sorry, this just reminded me. But did you guys ever play Aqua Teen Hunger Force, the golf game on PS2?
I never heard of that
Just
one.
by the way, that exists. I own it.
Really?
I played a little bit of it. It's literally just a golf game, but it's Aqua Teen Hunger Force. That's all. Continue.
I'm gonna have to go look this up now because it sounds so weird.
It was
But
very
I
odd. It was really funny because I did like the first like hole or so, and then Frylock's voiceover is just like, "Hope you're having fun because this is the whole game."
Wow. Wow.
So, I looked it up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gun golfing is only a few dollars.
Oh wow.
Everyone needs to go play this
Oh,
game.
God.
Also the speedrun for it, because there's a speedrun category
No, of
for it on
course.
speedrun.com. It is 11 seconds, I believe.
How?
Wow.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
11 seconds.
Yeah, you can just like you can kind of platform over a hedge and then just leave.
I love that. That's the version
Wow.
I would
Just
like
go.
to play.
You and me both. You and me both. Wow. That's funny. Oh my gosh. The another game I'll tell you guys if you guys haven't seen it yet. It is out. But it's called Horror Tales, The Wine.
Oh, the name rings a bell.
The game looks so cool. And that's one I keep forgetting to try to like go back to play because it looks really, really cool. But it's it takes place like kind of like in this Mediterranean island, like post like pandemic or something. Like it's really like, yeah, it's really, really cool. And it's like this abandoned city. And you're trying to find like this red wine bottle to cure. It's like to cure your family of like this sickness or whatever. But you're being hunted by like this, like they call it like I don't know what to call it, but like she kind of looks like a tall, like she's like a tall woman in this like big like white coat. She kind of looks like a mix between like Mr. X and like us, like Mr. X and like a Silent Hill nurse. Like it's really it's really nuts. But I recommend that one too. It's got a lot, it's very, very, very positive reviews. It's a really cool game. I've been like kind of watching gameplay of it and I'm just like, I need to try this one. So I recommend you guys play that one for sure.
I just remembered about a game that's upcoming that all three of us talked about briefly. Bloody Hell Hotel.
Yes.
Yeah.
That looks so fun.
It does. It looks really cool. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a game like that at all.
I don't think I have either, because it's kind of like a mix of genres a little bit, of just like hotel management and design, kind of similar to a la Sims, but then also hunting your guests and like choosing who to kill and who not to kill based on like what it'll do to your hotel and reviews and whatnot. I don't know. It just sounds fascinating and I'm here for it.
Oh, yes. That game looks so cool. There's another game like that, but it's on the NES. Well, kind of like that, but I don't know what the hell it's called.
I don't want to spend too long on this one because we have mentioned it before. Detention.
Yes. Yes.
Detention is another game that I think deserves so much more attention. I know they did get Netflix adaptation, but still, I think the player base should be so much bigger than it is. And it's only like, what, maybe a few hours or so you play the game for, maybe 4 or 5.
It's super short.
But it's great. It has, I guess, a lot of real world connections. Like, of course, because it's based in like Taiwan under martial law, like during like their White Terror period.
Oh, wow.
And it's like you're these high school kids. You play like one of two of these high school kids, and you're trapped in your high school after a typhoon happens. But like everyone's gone. And now your high school is kind of overrun by these kind of evil creatures that are called Lingered in the game. And God, they're scary, actually. And essentially you're just trying to like survive and find your way out of here. But you're also kind of unveiling like kind of dark secrets like about what has happened. And it's good. It's very, very good.
I second that. It's so good. The game and the TV show are so good.
I haven't watched the TV show.
Oh, I highly recommend it.
Writing this down as we speak.
Yes, we can add that to our viewing party list. Like, I would happily watch that show again. It's so good. So good.
I'm down to do that for sure.
Rain, you mentioned like NES horror game just there. This isn't an NES horror game, but it's designed kind of as if it was. There is 2 of them. There's Faith 1 and Faith 2. They're very short, maybe 2 hours each way, but because they have multiple endings is that runtime. In Faith 1, you play as John Ward. You play as John Ward in both of them, but you play as John Ward in the first one, and a year prior, John and a priest called Father Allred visited a house in this kind of like foresty area to perform an exorcism. But as you would expect, the exorcism did not go well. And the only survivors were John and the daughter who was being exorcised. And on like the anniversary of this exorcism, he goes back to this house to try and do the exorcism again. It does have multiple endings, and the first one is free on itch. The second one is like $1 on itch. The second one, you're still John, and you're with a priest called Father Garcia. And it starts out where Father Garcia is trying to perform an exorcism on a character called Michael. And this also goes horrifically bad. And it gets really creepy, and you're wandering around a forest and a graveyard outside, being chased by Michael, who is very deformed at this point. And they're very good. They're of course like free and $1 and super short. So there's absolutely games that I would recommend.
I'll have to check it out for sure. Trust me, I'm writing these down. Another one, the one that I was talking about though, I just remembered it. It's actually a Sega Genesis game, but it's called The Haunting.
Yeah.
Where you actually have to, you play an entity and you actually have to try to scare the residents out of the house.
Yeah.
It's actually really, really cool. I remember enjoying the hell out of that game when I was younger, but yeah, that's what the one I was trying to think of. I don't know. It just reminded me of that.
Oh, I have not given a plug to. There was another game that I got beta access to. TV's The Awakening, which is it's a platformer, which I don't normally play. So this was tricky for me. But the story seemed really interesting because as you were going around, you were like kind of like this TV person. And as you're going around, these like words keep appearing. Like, don't listen to him. You're my friend. Stay with me. Stay here. Why would you want to leave? As you're like trying to go through the worlds, and eventually the voice turns against you. And yeah, it was really, really cool. Like, the plot seems really interesting. I guess you like trying to escape this world. I'm not sure who the voice is. Is it like your subconscious? Is it another person? Like, I don't know. But it was like really, really intriguing. I really
my god! It reminds me, looking at it, it's like a side scroller platformer.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Inside.
Yes.
Oh,
very similar
Inside.
vibes.
That does look cool.
That's amazing.
It does look really cool.
A kind of a game similar to that, and like the whole like side scrollery type thing. DARQ. It's like DARQ, but replace the K with a Q.
Yes, that's on my backlog.
It's another like. It's so good. I got it free on Epic, and there's like 2 free DLCs as well, which are also equally very good and tie in, like, kind of end it really well. But you play as Lloyd, who is like kind of a mentally ill boy who is experiencing lucid dreams. And for those of you that don't know, lucid dreams, they're kind of they're dreams where you're aware that you're dreaming, and sometimes you can go and do things and control it. Not always, but it's a scary situation. But a lot of the story is kind of told through metaphors, like motifs like cogs and limbs and clocks and such will turn up, which are they're metaphors. Like, for example, cogs are Lloyd trying to like fix his mind, and limbs could signify like losing control or having control. But it's great. It's so good. Very dark, as the name would say. But they're also a very, very good game that I never see anybody talk about.
That just
I don't
reminds
think
me.
I've heard of it.
Metaphors just reminds me of Rule of Rose, because it's all metaphorical.
Rule
of Rose, yeah.
Unreliable narrator. God, that's such a good game.
Oh, I have actually seen this before. I've seen a friend of mine stream this, and it did look really, really cool.
Yeah, I think Melon Deity was streaming it a while ago, because that's when then after Melon Deity was streaming it, then I think the Epic sale happened, and I was just like, swipe.
Right? Yeah, maybe that's who I was thinking I seen streaming. I know someone did, and I was like, that really looks interesting. Yeah, I would.
Oh,
yeah.
Speaking of side scrollers as well, there's a Wii horror game called Happy Game.
Oh.
I love it already from the title.
You're a little boy. I know. You're a little boy, and every time you fall asleep, you experience pretty horrible nightmares. And you gotta like travel through these, but your kind of goal here is like kind of remaining happy, if you will, and you're trying to find your rabbit. But this is another game that has like a lot of like symbolism, if you will, and it's pretty gory. It's pretty awful for a kid to be seeing this.
Ooh.
Wait, isn't that kind of like Among the Sleep?
Ooh.
Is that the one where you like your bear talking? You're like a baby, and the bear, your stuffed bear talks to you. Yeah,
I've heard of that.
I have that. I haven't played it, but I have it.
Same situation. It's in the backlog.
Yeah, I'm putting that one in there too.
You know, I think yeah. This is also like to go back to like platformers and such. It's kind of a mix of like kind of horror elements and with like a puzzle platformer. Inmost. Nobody talks about it. I first played it. I had like a trial of Apple Arcade, and I played a bit of it there, and then I picked it up on Steam. Um, it's by three perspectives. You play as like a young girl who is kind of in an abusive household. You play as a knight and a man who I believe the man is searching for his daughter? Question mark. And their stories kind of interweave a little bit, but they're I think set in like two different worlds. Um, but it's so good, and like the whole art style is kind of like blue scaled, and I love that because blue is my favorite color, and a lot of rain. And if you're relatively aware of programming, rain is hard to program. I played it on stream, um, and it's very great. I think it's also just quite a short game, like maybe like 4 to 6 hours, depending on how you're playing. I don't really remember, something around that. Have you guys heard of Fran and Little Misfortune?
Yes, I haven't played them, but I
Yes.
know of them.
Oh, they're so good.
Yeah, I haven't played them either. Yeah.
I would play Fran first and then Little Misfortune, because there's like characters or races in Fran that like are seen like just a little bit, and Little Misfortune kind of like an Easter egg that won't really mean much to you unless you've played Fran. But Fran is definitely the darker of the two. Little Misfortune I would say is more linear, but Fran is more like horror puzzle. But Fran is it's set in the 40s, when the asylums were rampant. And you follow Fran, who is like 10 or something like that. And she also struggles with mental illness, but she struggles with them because she witnessed her parents being murdered. And we follow her. We start off in this asylum, and it's kind of her story of like figuring out what actually happened, like what is going on. But she's also being prescribed these pills, which give her mad hallucinations that are very bloody and very gory. And it's like a main kind of like puzzle mechanic of like some things you can solve in like the current reality, some things you can solve in this very gory reality. And it's great. It has a very lovely story to it. And then Little Misfortune is set in 1993, so 4 years before I was born. And this follows a very, very sweet little 8-year-old girl called Misfortune. And she lives with her parents, who are also quite abusive and neglectful and very not happy in their relationship. There's a trend here. They're in Sweden, and the game is narrated. So it's narrated by a character that we do learn the name of, but it's a major plot point. But Misfortune dubs him Mr. Voice. And he starts out the game. He starts by essentially telling us that Misfortune is gonna die today. But then Misfortune's just like, I can hear you, you know? And he's like, oh. And he backpedals and invites Misfortune to quote unquote play a game. And she of course accepts because she's an 8-year-old. she's gonna play a game. And when like she leaves the room, the voice kind of like turns to us and was just like, don't mention what I just said. So it's kind of like fourth wall breaky here and there. But we follow her throughout the game, and it's actually very lovely, if not slightly morbid. But we bump into this fox that Misfortune has called Benjamin, and she has a very large crush on. It's very lovely. There's a massive twist in this game. And yeah, as said, it does kind of tie into Fran. And I remember, I don't know if they're still doing it, but I remember there was something said that they were going to make like a game where it had both Fran and Misfortune in, and I love that a lot.
That does look, looking it up on Steam, it looks really, really cool. I like the way it looks.
There was
I've never heard
there
of
was
it.
also a game that I don't remember where I heard this, but like somebody said that they were going to make a game with just Benjamin, and I was just like, sold.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. It looks really cool. I like the way this one looks. Of course, for mine, I have one I recently played. I haven't gotten back into yet because I'm a little frightened, but it's called Madison.
Yes.
Of course, that is another first person like horror game. A lot of people call these PT clones, and I don't want to say that because it's not. This one isn't PT at all. The controls are great, but it kind of has that layers of fear thing because the elements change in it. But it's very scary and it is very cool. I do recommend that one. There's figuring out the story so far. Where I've when I played, it's kind of I don't know. It's a little like you don't know the story yet necessarily, but you wake up in this house. It looks like it's probably your house, but I think you're dealing with like an alcoholic, abusive dad, pretty much. But it's it's like very deep, but man, is it very scary. Like everything changes. This is the only game that I feel that made me feel like I need to like turn around every few like minutes while I'm playing because it makes me feel like there's something behind me, like every single time that I play. And that's the uneasy feeling. I love the game. It's really really fun. Really recommended game. But yeah, it's that one really gets me. And then there's also the beast inside.
That's on my
Yeah, I've heard
backlog.
that's very puzzly.
Yeah, it's puzzly. It's so okay. I recently played this on stream. So like it's like you played like two different people in like two different time periods, right? But I without spoiling because there's a reason why. But like the main part of the game, you play as this guy who works for I want to say not the FBI because it's not American, but it's I think in Russia like the I can't remember what they're called over there. But he's a cryptographer. So he knows how to decrypt messages and all that stuff. So you have to kind of do that in his chapter. And then like after you finish that, you'll like kind of go back to the other guy's time in the same area. Kind of back in the old, like kind of back when like I can't explain the time period, but it was like back in like I want to say 1800s. I think maybe that. But like it's very scary and it's like it's got a really great story, but you're like exploring all these areas trying to find out why these things are happening. Like you're like this big huge hotel, like most of the game anyway, and like the scary things that happen, the jump scares are not like there's jump scares in this are like incredible. I think I posted some on my TikTok by the way, but it's probably one of the most jumpy game I've ever played. It made me jump all the way through in a good way. Like it's not riddled with jump scares, but like it's a really cool thing. You're trying because as a cryptographer, you're trying to find out what happened to the guy that you're playing as in the past. You know what I mean? And when you're playing as the guy in the past, it also ties into the guy that you're playing in the future as a cryptographer. It's really really cool and wonderful. Probably one of the better horror games that I've played in recent years. So I definitely recommend that one. Beast Inside, hell of a game though.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like
I
we
think
could.
that's us for today.
I feel like we could go on forever of just like here are all the indies I
Oh,
love.
I know, right? Hell yeah. That's a great topic to pick because it's like a forever thing.
Heck yeah.
Well, all right. Thank you for listening to us go on about many, many indie games today. Please, we're gonna put some links below. Feel free to check them out. Of course, that helps out the devs and helps out kind of the indie industry as a whole.
For sure.
But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Peace, everyone.
I'll see you soon.
Bye.